Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor. And now, live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
Oh, it's that Tuesday. Good grief. We're back, home squeezes. How you boys doing? It is Ass Whip Tuesday. Throw that over there. That's my first ass whip, me never having my phone charged. I don't remember the last time my phone was at 100% and I get made fun of it. Like I'll post something and people will be able to see, like if I post a screenshot of my phone or something, people will be able to see the top right corner when it shows how much juice you have left. And a lot of times mine's perpetually in the red. So my first ass whip today here on Ass Whip Tuesday is my inability to keep my phone charged. I just forget about it. And it's my setup at home. Like, most people probably plug their phone in at night when they go to sleep. I don't have a plug like readily available to me. It's more than arm's length. I could just not be lazy and plug it in across the room. But, I got kids spread out all over the country, and I like to have my phone nearby in case I get a call from one of my kids. I get pissed when my friends text me post 10 o'clock or pre 9 a.m. So that's an ass whip too. But my inability to keep the damn thing charged, so I'm almost out of juice again, of course, today. And it's one of those days where I need my phone for notes, which is why I have my glasses. I used to be old school and write my notes down every day on notebook paper, which I still do. I still keep a trusty notebook with me. But I've gotten, as the years have gone by, I get better and better, I guess is the word. I don't know if it's better and better or not. I start making more notes on my phone because we'll be somewhere, I'll have a thought, I'll have an epiphany, I'll have an idea, and I'll jot it down here, and then I'm like, I'll write it down when I get home, and I never do, and so I just have to wind up relying on the phone. Anyway, so it's Ass Whip Tuesday. I've got first world problems. My phone's never charged. But there are a lot of ass whips today, and that's what I want to know from the people. What's whipping your ass today, and why? Jump in here and chat with us. And let me know what your ass whip is and why. It doesn't have to be a human. Like Wednesday is people I want to punch. That's more personal. Tuesday is more, what is it? It could be traffic. It could be you broke a toe. It could be your dog bit your neighbor. Whatever, I don't know. Something in this world that we live in. Because no doubt by the second work week on Tuesday, something somewhere in this world is whipping your ass. My ass, I got a lot today. The whole show is going to be a bunch of ass whippage. A lot of bitching today, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I can't help the news cycle. And I want to get into the damn San Antonio Spurs here in a minute, but I was, poking through football notes last night, checking the weather in Buffalo, which, by the way, the weather in Buffalo this week, and as you might imagine, it's going to be cold. But they're expecting a real cold front, even by Buffalo standards, by Sunday. And the wind is going to be a problem. So I don't know how much passing is going to go on. The Cowboys may have to win this game on the ground. And thank God Rico Dowdle, who's been in Tony Pollard's stead. I jumped on Rico Dowdle's ass the first month of the season, but he's come on in the last few weeks. And he's been a decent backup to Tony Pollard. They may need both of them. If not, hell, they may need 3 running backs to get through this game based on the weather forecast for Sunday in Buffalo. Thank you, Ray. A $1 donation through the Super Chat. The weather in Buffalo could be a massive issue by Sunday at 3:25 Texas time. So there's another aspect. But I was thinking about Cowboy scenarios, and all of a sudden now they got to go up to fucking Buffalo, and the Bills, who've been really mediocre all year, coming off a pretty nice win over the Chiefs, feeling good about themselves, playing desperate football because they're on the bubble. They're going to give Dallas a hell of a game Sunday, and this could very well end up being a loss. Then the Cowboys have the Dolphins in here. Oh, not in here. They got to go to Miami. You talk about a tit for tat weather scene. You got to go to effing Buffalo one week. Then you got to go to South Beach the next week. So let's load up all the coats and get the heaters, and then wear shorts, on South Beach. Miami who lost last night, so Miami's now all of a sudden going to start playing desperate football too. Anyway, so the schedule's hard. The Cowboys may lose the next 2 weeks. Does anybody think that the Dallas Cowboys are not better than the Tampa Bay Bucks? No one thinks that. Does anybody out there think that the Cowboys are not as good as the New Orleans Saints? No, nobody thinks that. Does anybody think the Cowboys are not as good as the Atlanta Falcons? No, we all know that. The Saints, the Falcons, and the Bucks could all mesh their three teams together and play the best 22 guys of those three teams, and the Cowboys would still beat their ass. And you know what's going to suck? If Dallas has to go to one of those cities in the playoffs this year, the way they had to go up to Tampa last season, and play a playoff game on the road against a team with a sub-500 record when they ended Tom Brady once and for all. That's an ass whip for me. The NFL's hard-on for multi-divisions. I am okay with having divisions. The NFL has too many of them. And so because the NFL is as watered and petered down as it's ever been, and the parity in the league only gets worse and worse by the year, every effing year we're going to have one, if not two divisions that suck butthole. And the winner of that division is not even going to be over 500, but they're going to get a home game because they were able to be the tallest midget in their division. And that's bullshit. Midget. So it's the same crap this year with that NFC South. You got Tampa Bay, the whole Atlanta, and New Orleans sitting there at 6 and 7, tied for first. That's ridiculous. One of those effing teams is going to wind up winning a division. The Cowboys probably won't win their division because the Eagles are 10 and 3, and the Eagles have the tiebreaker, and the Eagles have a much easier schedule where the Cowboys got to go to the damn winter storm of Buffalo. Then they got to go down to Miami, and the Dolphins are pretty good at home. At least they were until last night. So Dallas is probably not going to win the division, which means the Cowboys are probably going to be a road favorite in the wild card round, having to go to fucking Tampa again or Atlanta or somebody. That's an ass whip. But the NFL wants multi-divisions so they can have all these different playoff teams, just like the UIL here in Texas, where we got 35 state champions every year, where we want 30 different teams to be able to say, we're number one. The NFL wants all these different teams to be able to have the chance to go to the postseason, and it sucks for teams like the Cowboys, who were the second best team in the NFC. It's possible the Cowboys are the second best team in the NFL. I don't think anybody would really argue against that, not around here anyway. San Francisco is clearly the best team in football. I think the Cowboys are probably the second best team in football right now. I reserve the right to change my mind based on what we see in the next 4 weeks. But you can make the case that right now Dallas is the second best team in all of the NFL, and they're probably going to be on the road wild card weekend playing a team that's sub 500. Tell me how that makes sense. It does not. There's nothing mathematical about it. There's nothing moral about it, and it's bullshit. And I'm already setting myself up to get mad about this again because we're still a month away from the playoffs, and the Cowboys are going to wind up having to go on the effing road. And, of course, it didn't faze them last year. They went up there and beat the shit out of Tampa, and Dak Prescott was sensational. It's just a pain in the ass. It's a road trip, you know. They've been so good at home, they deserve a home game in the postseason. You got to go on the road. You got to risk injury playing a shitty team so you can get them out of the way. Then you play a divisional. It's stupid. That's my ass whip today. The NFL's insistence upon all these divisions. I'm fine with having some divisions, but there's too many. And I'm just bitching into the clouds. They'll never change it. If anything, they'll add more divisions. It's all for money. It's all for marketing. It's all about gambling. And they want parity and everybody to be mediocre, and that's what they got. LG, what is whipping your ass and why? Anything today, or are you peachy clean?
Yeah, no.
You free up your conscience free today?
No, HOA is whipping my ass.
HOA. This is the second time I remember that this has come up on this show in the last 6 months. Now what with your HOA out here in Suburbanville?
I guess they're located in Dallas, of all places, the HOA company. Mm-hmm. And they've been sending me delinquent notices for a zero balance for like the last 3 months.
It's a computer.
Yeah, and I called them, and they don't see it in there. and it just keeps coming in the mail. And it's like
Are you
your
sending
account is
you emailing these
delinquent.
people screenshots?
No,
of the
I have
bill?
receipts. I pay on the online system, and then I also have paperless selected. So they shouldn't be mailing me anything. They're wasting trees, man.
Well, as long as this doesn't ding your credit, because it could, because AI is in charge of everything.
I've called them twice already, and they don't know what's going on.
Outrageous. The HOA is based in Dallas.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
stupid.
Must be one of these
HOAs are
monster ones.
stupid, like straight
Just
up.
dumb.
They suck.
I know, they suck,
They
but-
suck. They're good for some things, just to make sure your neighbors don't wild out.
Yeah.
Build like a castle in the backyard or something. But other than that, no good.
Makes it so hard. One of the reasons it's so hard to live in Hawaii long term in the hellscape is because your mortgage would be $2,200 a month. The HOA fee is $950. So you're paying $30.
I pay
over $3,000.
$90 a quarter. Yeah.
Oh, and in Hawaii, it's $90 a day in some of those neighborhoods.
Good God.
What's up, Geechee SA? Thank you, homeboy. A $9.99 donation. Keep the good time rolling into 2024. You have no idea, Geechee SA,
Thanks, Holmes.
the good times that we have in store for you. Provided this thing, I need I need a T to cross. I need a dot to I. I need one more butt wiped. And if I get those three things, I got a plan for the coming year. And hopefully it won't all go to hell. But we'll see how things shake down. All right. Let's get into the Bagtastic Challenge, and we'll get on with Ass Whip Tuesday. It is time for yet the final game of the 2023 Mike Taylor Live Bagtastic Challenge, as we crown the D-Bag of the Year. Who is the douchiest person in the world in 2K23? Today's matchup, and we didn't do one yesterday because it was, as you may have noticed yesterday, was a replay of Cowboys Overreact presented by the Law Office of Orlando Kell, so we didn't do a Bagtastic matchup yesterday, but we'll make good on it today. It is the final matchup of the second round, and I'm going to post it right now live on the air. Let me go to it now. Let me pull up Twitter. LG had a good point. I'm not calling it X because they haven't even changed it to x.com on the internet. It's still twitter.com.
Yep.
Hey, Twitter world.
So today has the 7 versus 2 matchup. The 7 seed, the brother of Beast Texan Patrick Mahomes. It is Jackson Mahomes, the unbelievably douchey brother of Jackson Mahomes, who basically all he's known for is showing his ass and trying to get ass because he's his brother's brother, who's also still up on charges for sexual harassment and assault in a bar against a woman twice his age who was simply the manager of the place. He refused to leave after closing time because he thought he'd be able to stay because he's Patrick Mahomes' brother. Did you see the movie Black Sheep with the great Chris Farley? The late, great
love that movie.
Chris Farley.
Yep. It's basically the same movie as Tommy Boy.
Surely, and Jackson's been a little quiet lately. His brother, ironically, has not been quiet, but Jackson has. I bet a left nut that Patrick finally sat him down after the bar scene and was like, dude, if you don't get your shit together, you got to go home. Send your ass back to East Texas. You can go back to mom's house. All right, so today it's Jackson Mahomes. He is up against perennial D-Bag nominee Skip Bayless, the noted talk show host, first of Mickey, then of Fox, who has poisoned many of your brains. He is the Tucker Carlson of sports talk. He likes to make shit up, throw things out there just to get you riled up, to get you to move his needle for him. And y'all go for it all the time. Hook, line, and sinker. He is the Pied Piper of sports talk. It is Skip Bayless, the former longtime columnist of the Dallas Times-Herald, a man that Troy Aikman says if he could do it and get away with it, he would punch him in the fucking face. Skip Bayless. And boy, he has one of those punchable faces too, boy. I don't hate on Skip like many of y'all do. I don't watch Skip, so therefore he doesn't piss me off. It's Skip versus Jackson Mahomes. It just got posted to Twitter, i.e. X, Vote on there. The voting will go for 24 hours. And they will have the Final Four ready to roll starting tomorrow. You can watch this thing on YouTube. You can listen to it or watch it on Spotify. You can watch it live on Twitter. I see LG's posted our show to Twitter. I finally noticed that whenever you do the shows on Twitter too, on my handle, it lights up pink. And it says live on my avatar.
That's a nice color.
So if you click on that, it opens it up. So watch me on Twitter. Best color in the world, pink. Especially underneath a couple of real cinnamon colored hunks of labia. All right, so vote. It's Jackson Mahomes against Skip Bayless. I'm sorry, baby, but I do love it very much. Good times. All right, so the Final Four will actually start next week. So here's what I think. I think we'll do this matchup today. Let me ask you, let's just do this on the air then. Let's just have a production meeting right now. So after today, we'll have the final. Well, we're doing it now. After today, we'll have the Final Four set. Right? But tomorrow's the last show of the week because I'm going on shore leave Thursday. We won't have a show Thursday because I'm out of town. Mm-hmm. Do you want to do one Final Four matchup tomorrow and then wait till next week to do the other Final Four matchup, or should we just hold off and start the Final Four when I get back?
We should start the Final Four when you get back.
Doesn't that make the most sense? Okay, so today it's going to be... Okay, so here's what we have. Next week in the Final Four, an all-political matchup as the 8 seed Ted Cruz will take on the 13 seed, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Cruz versus DeSantis will be explosive. And then whoever wins today's matchup between Bayless and Jackson Mahomes, which I guess will be Skip. Skip will take on James Harden next week. So the winner of this matchup today between Skip and Jackson Mahomes will take on James Harden. The other matchup would be Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis. And we'll start the Final Four when I get back in here a week from tomorrow. So this is actually, so tomorrow will be the last show for a week. We're going on vacation, man. Even podcasters who only put 4 hours a week in of work deserve a vacation around Jesus' birthday. And I am on vacation starting Thursday morning.
Well, to be fair, you're going on vacation.
I am, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You going to run 3 cents on Thursday? No, I'll be on that. I'll be on that show.
Okay. Right.
Are y'all going to do one next Tuesday? Because I won't be here. Call me up. Maybe I can.
Let me know when you find out.
I'll let you know when I find out. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. So that's it. Vote today. Jackson Mahomes, Skip Bayless. I assume Skip's not in any trouble, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. All right, lots of other ass whips today. The NFL whips my ass every year, and these are not new problems. I bitch about it every year around this time of year. And yes, I'm a bitter Cowboy fan, and I deserve to be. This isn't typical D-bag Cowboy fan bitching about things. This is a legitimate beef that I would have. If I were Jerry Jones, although Jerry disagrees with me, I like that for competition. You know, Jerry has two lives. He has Cowboys owner and GM, but he has competition committee chair member. And I
want me some glory hole.
So he totally loves all the divisions, and Jerry'd probably add 4 games to the regular season if he could. So he would actually disagree with me on this, but I am pissed off because the way it's set up, it is not beneficial to his team. He's in a good division. He's in a division with the Eagles. And because of that, he's going to carry arguably a team. And it's fucked up because the Cowboys are probably not going to win the division, but they're better than Philadelphia is. Makes no sense. They're going to be the second best team in all of football, yet they got to go on the road, play a team that's sub 500 because y'all want divisions. Okay, but that sucks for me as a Cowboy fan because I actually want Jerry's team to win, believe it or not. And the unpredictability of this thing, there's no reason why the Cowboys, the Tampa Bay may beat the Cowboys with a fucking 8 and whatever record. 7-10 record, 8-9 record. They may beat Dallas. You know, things happen. It's the NFL. Look at last night. Here's Green Bay finally feeling good about itself after 3 straight victories over like the Chiefs and the Lions and the Chargers. And Jordan Love all of a sudden looks like he's figured it out. And so what does the red-hot Green Bay Packers do last night? They go into New York and get beat by a fucking mafia member's kid. Bobby Petito or whatever the kid's name is that's playing quarterback with the Giants. They get beat by the damn Giants last night. What a beating. How about my Dolphins? My dream scenario where it's Cowboys and Dolphins in the Super Bowl took a bit of a hit last night because Miami's trying to get home field advantage in the AFC. They ain't going to do it, losing their asses at home to the shitty Titans. Will Levis, the rookie, and the Tennessee Titans go into Hard Rock Cafe last night in the M.I.A.Yo. and beat my Dolphins. What a shitty night. And by the way, that leads to my other ass whip today. 2 Monday night games on at the same time contemporaneously. That's an ass whip. They've had 2 games on Monday night before, but they would have like a 6:30 start and an 8:30 start. They would overlap, but they'd stagger the games. Last night they had the same kickoffs. And if you're Aikman and Joe Buck, you got to be thinking, we got the Packers-Giants here. I was far more interested in Dolphins-Titans just because the Dolphins are the better of those 4. And I want to watch my Dolphins and Tua and the 40-year-old coach who looks like he's 17. That was an ass whip, having 2 games on at once last night.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You bet your ass. Greg's in here. What's up? San Antonio native, now in Detroit. Shout out to Greg in Detroit, Michigan. I have been to Detroit, the airport, and didn't even get off the airplane. Didn't even leave the plane and go into the airport. But I've physically been in Detroit, Michigan. But
doesn't count. You can't
physically
count the airports.
My molecules were there.
You weren't in the city.
My balls and dick were in Detroit.
Yeah.
Physically.
And I've been to Taiwan and China a shit ton of times.
Yeah.
But never left the airport.
Never been able to see it. Maybe your dream of getting to one of those Taiwanese brothels will happen one of these days. You need a longer layover so you can get laid on your layover, so to speak. Shout out to Greg. Good to hear the mayor of sports' sweet angelic voice once again. You bet your ass. I got my, speaking of angelic voices, I got my Thom Brenneman cup today. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith, and there's a drive into deep left field by Castellanos, and that'll be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to put on this headset again.
I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
LG says he's podcasting these days, Thom Brenneman.
Yeah, he's got his own podcast.
Is it called the F capital of the world?
Probably. It should be if he was smart.
Hey, go.
Yeah.
Own it. Own your bullshit. Brian's in here. The Spurs are bad, indeed. It's Spurs. Ray's in here. The Spurs had 18 seniors playing that game last night. That's funny. Having to work at 4 a.m. the day after returning from the hellscape, Brian Dernan. Oh, dude, I'm going to the hellscape Thursday. We're swapping schedules here. Got to go see my kids. Excuse me. Jason, Mike, it's going to be in the 40s in Buffalo. Come on, man. That's not what I just read. Let me go to my trusty reporter that I rely on. I've got a source.
Yeah, is it called the weather app?
It's called Twitter. And no, it's Michael Gilkin. He's a longtime Cowboy writer with the Morning News. He tweeted 36 minutes ago, something to watch. National Weather Service forecasts strong wind in Buffalo Thursday and Friday. If that carries into Sunday, Cowboys becoming increasingly reliant upon the run game versus the Bills. I said, yeah, strong winds. And it's a 3:25 kickoff, which means it's a 4:25 kickoff in Buffalo, which means it's going to get dark in the second quarter. It's going to be colder than 40 degrees, I'll bet you. And it's that wind that may be the big one. L. Harley, Jackson Mahomes is actually in the D-bag lead if you look at it. Well, it just started. Let's see how it shakes down. Although I will say this, a lot of y'all do love Skip. He does move the shit out of the needle. I mean, there's a reason why they pay him, gosh knows, it's north of $10 million a year there at FS1. We'll see. I mean, maybe Jackson Mahomes, he's here for a reason, you know. It wouldn't be a colossal upset if he were to, certainly wouldn't be one of the 10 biggest upsets we've had if he were to win this game. I just think Skip probably will figure it out. Navarro, that 2 games same threw me. That 2 games in a row threw me off again yesterday. Agreed. Total ass whip. It was an ass whip. I don't get a chance to. I like to watch Troy and Joe Buck. I miss Troy. We used to get him on 4 or 5 Cowboy games a year. And now we get third leg Greg, which I don't mind third leg Greg, but I ain't Troy. And so last night I had a chance to listen to Troy, but I was more interested in the other game. Troy should have gotten the Dolphins game last night, but whatever.
Did they do it on like ESPN and ABC? How did they split it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Craig Fowler called the other game, which was weird to hear the voice of college football doing an NFL game last night. It was strange the way they rolled it out, but they did it that way. I don't know why, but they did. All right, now I've buried the lead long enough, and I'm going to bury it just a skosh more. This show brought to you by the title sponsor, Texas Cheer Liquor.
Yo, when I need beer, I go to Texas Cheer. But I don't always drink beer. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a little liquor. Still go to Texas Cheer. Sometimes, though, I'm in the mood for champagne or maybe a little bit of wine, and I still go to Texas Cheer Liquor, the official liquor store of Thunderdome. Texas Cheer Liquor. They got 9 locations all over San Antonio, Texas, so no matter where you live in the city, there's going to be one near you. Thunderdome's liquor store is Texas Cheer Liquor.
All right, last night, let's just do this now. I have got to find a way to stop being mad at the Spurs. I let them piss me off again last night. And I just need to accept the facts, and the facts are this team's terrible, and it's not going to get any better. This year is only going to be about developing Victor Wembanyama and hoping that he doesn't get frustrated and start looking for other pastures here. 1 year, is it possible that he would get sick of playing here after a year? Once again, they don't get blown out. They fart hard, and they've farted harder lately. We haven't had the blowouts, but they don't have any chance to win these games in winning time. So once again, it was rinse and repeat as they go into Houston against a Houston team that is being coached up by Ime Udoka. I don't know all the details of Ime. He was fucking somebody in that Boston Celtics office, and they thought it was unethical or whatever. He was dipping that big old long black one in the company ink. He got that wiener green up there in Boston, and so they fired him. And I guess there had to have been way more to it than what we know. But Boston makes the decision to let Ime go, and so he didn't coach for a year. The Rockets are like, come on. He is a coaching sumbitch. And mark my words, whatever Ime did in Boston, he won't do it again. It's not like he's a pervert like Josh Primo. He won't repeat that again. He'll keep it out of the company ink, most likely. He is a coaching sumbitch. A Rockets team that only won 22 games last year, they're going to go to the playoffs. They're over 500. That guy can coach. These Spurs play hard there. They hang in. But what happens in winning time? They get smacked around like biatches. And they set the Spurs all-time record last night. All-time record. They've now lost 17 games in a row. Should we champion it? Well, yeah, bitches. We made history last night. Golly. And now that sets up for a back-to-back against the Lakers. And I doubt that they hang tough. They may hang tough in one of these games, but the Lakers with LeBron and AD, the Lakers are probably going to come in here and beat their ass 2 nights in a row.
The participation champion Lakers, you mean?
Oh, they won that NBA Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
They're the reigning
did.
NBA Cup champions. Yeah.
LeBron got MVP, most valuable participant.
Okay. Are you bagging on LeBron?
No, I'm bagging on the in-season tournament.
Is that what they called it? Most valuable participant?
No, that's what I called it.
Well, it's going to take a minute to kick into the American psyche. Look, the NBA knows its games are boring, half of them. They know that a lot of the teams tank. This is the reason why we have the in-season tournament, to try to get teams to stop tanking and stop. They've tried to crack down on load management. This in-season tournament is them admitting that, the NBA regular season's too long and it doesn't really matter. That's the reason why they instilled this tournament. And they get hyped for it in Europe for soccer, this in-season shit. But, of course, they've been doing it for 50 years there. It's going to take a minute to kick in here. I saw that Michelle Beadle took a shot at the Lakers on Twitter and took a shot at LeBron and tried to cheapen it. And then tried to cheapen the championship that they won in the bubble, during the bubble season. I don't have it in front of me, but she tweeted something along the lines of, well, if you add the bubble championship with the in-season tournament championship, it's almost a for-real championship. I think she's bitter because LeBron James helped get her ass terminated from Mickey. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but that's what I've read. But it looked real petty on her part tweeting that out. She's still doing Spurs games on occasion. She's still sitting in the studio and such. I think she is.
Yeah, he just chimes in every 35 minutes with something awful.
Oh, when she's doing games?
Yeah.
She's fine in the studio, but if they're going to run her out there during the game, she don't need to be it don't need to be a two-person crew. Just let her call the game with Bill or Danny Weiss. Let her fill in whenever. Normally, I think Sean doesn't always go on the road, and so they'll let Matt Bonner do it, but then they put her in there with Matt Bonner, and she's in the way. Either let her do it alone or get her out of there.
Or put her ass on the sideline. Make her do something else.
We used to have a sideline reporter when I first got here. I forgot her name. She was married to Joe Prunty, who was an assistant coach. But Beadle came off as real bitter. Come on. The Lakers won the in-season tournament fair and square. And that bubble championship's not tainted. Everybody else had the same shot. It is what it is. Raul, the Lakers are going to put 140 on us. Yeah, probably. We're just fucking terrible, man. It's just, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch without getting pissed. So I'm trying to unpiss myself. I'm trying to get to the point now as a Spurs fan where, okay, cool, we're going to lose. We're not any good. Want to watch Wemby, watch the developmentation, but it's just hard to do that, man. I'm 49 years old. I probably have 20 good years left of good health. Why waste my mid-age, when still have a little bit of health left in me, why waste it on watching fucking terrible sports? Hard to do.
It's garbage.
Last night, this thing went 5 for 42 from 3 points. 5 for 42. It's not that they're pizzas. They ain't soft. It's not that they're not aggressive. They're aggressive. It's not that they're dumb. They run the plays just fine. It's just that they're not any good. They're not good. They're not a good team. They don't have good players. They got a 19-year-old phenom developing daily, which is good, and they got nobody else. And y'all can tell me that Keldon Johnson's good. Is he? How good would he be anywhere else in the NBA? Because somebody has to score 20 points for a shitty team, and he's one of the guys. Devin Vassell, I think Devin Vassell's good. I think Devin Vassell's the closest thing to a good player that they have outside of Wembanyama. But even he's inconsistent as hell. And it's awful. And what makes it even worse is the coach telling us in training camp that this season was about getting wins. Last year was about tanking. We got our guy. Now it's about winning. We've developed. We've worked on our games. This thing's not any good. And Pop didn't know it. Why would he say during media day that it's about winning this year, and look how terrible they are? If it weren't for Detroit, the Spurs would be on pace to have the worst record in the league by far, even worse than last year. The fact that Pop told us all that this is about wins, and look at their record now, that tells me that Greg Popovich did not know what he had. Is that not an indictment on him? The guy, he's built up a million mulligans, of course. He's a legend. He needs a statue, but he didn't know what he had. That is not a good look for him. This is the worst team that the Spurs have ever fielded. Worse than last year.
Fix this shit, Rich!
I'm ready to blow shit up here. I'm ready to make a trade just for the sake of making one to send a message to your team. We're not doing this. This is not why we're here. We're not here to... we're not here to read fun... You want to read fun books? Great, read fun books. I saw there was an article in the paper last week. Wembanyama's a well-read guy. Lots of guys on the team like to read books. I don't give a fuck. Man, they ought to read some defensive principles. There's books on defense. This whole rebuilding camaraderie. And that's another thing. I'm getting tongue tied. I'm so pissed at this team. I am tired of hearing that they're kids. They're still learning the process. I can't even tell you how many times Sean Elliott let them off the hook last night because they're young and they're learning. Our guys are learning. No, they're not. They don't get that. I'm not giving them that pass. Only Wembanyama is learning. Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson have been in the NBA long enough to now to not be this far behind. I get that people develop at their own paces, but this thing, they're too far behind based on how long they've been in the league. They're just ass. And then what's Pop do? He goes out there and praises them for hard work. And
both teams play hard.
Their defensive effort. Dude, that's an ass whip. It's another ass whip I have today. Greg Popovich letting this team off the hook. They played their asses off, just didn't make any shots. Okay. And speaking of not making any shots, you know, like I have accepted that basketball has changed. I have accepted that it is better in the long run to miss a whole bunch of three-point shots than make a whole bunch of twos. Because if you just make some of your threes, it counterbalances those twos you made, and it gives you a better chance to win. I get that. That's what the data says. I understand that. And it's not like all of a sudden, it's not like that's never been the case, but it was just never how the game was played. All in the last 80 years, they should have been taking more threes. They would have had a better chance to win, all these teams. I get it. Of course, styles have changed, blah, blah, blah. Rules have changed, what refs call, that kind of thing. But anyway, in modern basketball, I understand that in the long run, it is better. You have a better chance to win if you take a shit ton of threes. But if you're only going to make 5 of them, it makes for the worst basketball on the planet. And therein lies one of the drawbacks of modern-day sports analysis and data. When a team's incapable of doing the data that it should be doing, it makes for the worst fucking time ever trying to watch it. There is nothing entertaining whatsoever about a bunch of passes to open up a corner three when the kid misses it all night. I get that taking threes still is, in the long run, the best option. But if you don't make any of them, it makes for the worst, most boring effing basketball any of us has ever seen. And I don't know what to do about it. Other than, it's time for one of Uncle Mike's radical rules changes that'll never happen, but he's going to say it anyway because it's true. Maybe there should be a 4-point shot. At some point, maybe the NBA should consider adding a 4-pointer. That might make for better basketball. So I actually did some research last night, knowing that the Spurs were going to blow this game. So I was sitting there, I had the game on, but I went and looked this up last night. It's not like this whole thing where everybody takes threes all night long. This is new. And again, I get why they're doing it, but it's only been 9 years since the Spurs won the 2014 NBA Finals. Can you believe that? It's been 9 years. So I looked this up, and I double counted my math. In the finals in 2014, and what was that called? The Beautiful Game series. When the Spurs were playing the beautiful game, the highly entertaining game that they played, the style that they played, in which everybody got involved, the passing was unbelievable. They just carved your ass up and got for the best shot, and they just ate your ass alive, whether it was a layup, a 2-pointer, or a 3. The Beautiful Game series. In those 5 games against the Miami Heat in the 2014 NBA Finals, the Spurs took 118 threes as a team in those 5 games. I know whenever I throw numbers out, it's hard. I'll repeat that. In the 5 games of the 2014 NBA Finals, the Spurs took as a team 118 threes. Going into last night's game against Houston, and they shot 41 last night, missed almost all of them. In the 5 games prior to last night, this current Spurs team as a team had taken 195 threes. All right? So the old Spurs, when they were the beautiful game, took 118 three-point shots in a 5-game span of the NBA Finals. Going into last night, this current group, in their last 5 games, same amount of games, had taken almost 80 more threes than the beautiful team did. Now, again, the NBA's changed. But if you're not going to make them, it's boring. Even if you miss 20 threes in a game, But you still wind up winning because you make enough to catch up and counterbalance all those twos you would have been making. It still makes for shitty basketball. I don't know any novice basketball fan that loves watching anybody miss shots all night long. Yeah, but we made 7. We only went 7 for 22. We clanked 22 of them, but we made 7, and 3 of them came in winning time, so we wound up winning by 4, so it was a good idea to take all those threes. Sure. It's just not fun to watch, and I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that it is. All right, couple of things to promote before we get out of here today. Remember we did a remote, me and Puma did a remote last year that I set up on my own with no help from my heart. I don't think LG went to that. At AR's Entertainment Hub over at the old Wonderland Mall of the Americas.
Oh, no, I missed that one.
Yeah.
The old Crossroads Mall.
The old Crossroads Mall. They got a real cool arcade in there. And a good hard Thunderdomer by the name of Larry is the assistant GM over there. And he hired us last year, me and Puma. Maybe it was earlier this year. Me and Puma went up there when they had their grand opening. It's a really fun thing to do with your kids. Matter of fact, my twins will be here in a few weeks. I think I'm going to take them up there a couple of times. It's a badass arcade on steroids. Well, they got, for the next 2 Thursdays, this Thursday and the next, free pictures with Santa Claus. So this Thursday, the 14th, and then the following Thursday on the 21st, ARs at the old Crossroads Mall, will have free pics with Santa between 5 and 8 p.m. Santa's going to he's going to play games with kids. He's going to hang out in the living room sitting and taking pictures, and parents are allowed to take pics absolutely free with that cool setting in the background, and then Santa's going to play in the arcade himself. So if you're looking for a place for your kid to go see Santa, the next 2 Thursdays between 5 and 8 p.m. at AR's Entertainment over here at the old I keep screwing it up because it's now
Wonderland.
Yeah, Wonderland. The old Wonderland Mall. In there is AR's, 5 to 8 p.m. in the next 2 Thursdays for free. Get your kids' picture taken with Santa. Did your mama make you take pictures with Santa when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think so. I think they had me dress up as a cowboy one year.
Oh my God.
Full vest and little sheriff's thing, and it was terrible.
It can't be any worse than the scene you wore out to the ranch that time with me and Puma with your Texas shirt.
Yeah, that was a little more
with your long ass hair.
That was a little more conjunto.
LG looked like an escaped cartel member.
That was Peso Pluma. That's what that was.
You were Peso Pluma. I had something that came across my head, but I'm not going to say it because it was highly racist, so I'm going to keep it to myself. But I'm laughing on the inside. All right, so you boys go out and see Santa Claus with your kid this Thursday, 5 to 8 p.m. for free pictures at AR's Entertainment the next 2 Thursdays. All right, a couple of other things, and we'll go through some of the people. Justin Herbert might be the latest quarterback done for the season. Surgery on his finger today, and he's probably done. They only have 4 games left. They're not going to go to the playoffs. They suck. This is per Adam Schefter of Mickey. They play the Raiders on Thursday night, and they're not going to have Herbert. For the rest of the season, the Chargers may have to run something called Easton Stick as their quarterback. That's a person. That's a human named Easton Stick. Easton Stick may be the quarterback of the Chargers.
Competitor for the Louisville Slugger.
Sounds like a porn name to me. They call me Easton Stick. If you're a Chargers fan, are there any Chargers fans? Well, assuming there are some, maybe there's a few. How you feeling these days about your head coach, Brandon Staley? And how you feeling these days about your offensive coordinator, the Keebler Elf, a.k.a. Kellen Moore, the fired offensive coordinator of the Cowboys? You talk about how to destroy a franchise quarterback one-on-one course. Brandon Staley and the Keebler Elf have displayed exactly how to fuck up on all-world talent because Justin Herbert's not very good. Thank you, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, in less than a season, has turned Dak Prescott into an MVP. Right now, Dak's probably the MVP of the league.
Dak Prescott sucks.
Now, that's mostly because of Dak Prescott. because Dak is such a student of the game. He takes it so serious, and he's got talent. Despite what I think about him in the postseason, in the regular season, he's the shiznit. And I argued this yesterday on postgame, and I said this Sunday night after the Eagles game, Dak's probably playing the best he ever has at any point in his career. Gee, what changed other than Dak? Just working hard. What else changed? Oh, yeah, they got rid of that fucking Kellen Moore. The offseason move of the year by the Cowboys could be the trade for Stephon Gilmore. Could be the decision to release Zeke Elliott and get out from underneath all that money. It could be the extension to Martin. It could be the whatever. There's a number of things that they've done well this year. The best damn thing they may have done all year was get rid of that Kellen Moore and let Mike McCarthy call the plays, which I've been screaming for over the last 2 years. So that's good. Panest is in here. This deal has been rough to watch. I don't know who our core is. They don't have a core, the Spurs. They don't have one. They got Victor Wembanyama and a bag of ding-dongs. Boodle San Antonio, remember Westlake Mall off Marbach and 410? Oh, yeah. What really? Just remember the feels of when the Spurs were the best team, the good old days. I know.
Speaking of Marbach, we're about 78 away from me getting a Marbach mop.
Okay, then.
We need subscribers.
All right.
I'm about 78 subscribers away.
All right. So I'm getting a haircut this weekend. I'm supposed to with my kid. Promised that I would not get a haircut till I got out there. He wants to get a haircut, wants to get a haircut with me. But I'll just get a short trim because I'm anticipating I have to grow a mullet.
I have a feeling that we won't hit that goal till like January at some point.
I've got time.
Yeah,
so I can go and get a
you
regular
got time.
haircut.
Yeah,
All right.
you got time.
All right. So we're 70 some odd subscriptions away, which are free from our 3,000 subscriber, which again, for a little ding dong podcast, which here, let me say something else. I call it a ding dong podcast. I'm just trying to be self-deprecating. And I'm not Pat McAfee or Dan Patrick. That don't mean I'm not going to be. But I would put our podcast and the look of this thing up against anybody's in town.
I've gotten a lot better at this YouTube.
I would put our podcast and the look of it. I don't know about the host, but I'd put the look of it up against anybody's in town. I've looked at a couple of podcasts around the state, some other podcasters in other cities. Like there's a really popular talk show host in the San Francisco Bay Area who has a show on KNBR, started his own podcast. He's my old program director. His name is John.
Beautiful.
So one of my ex-bosses at Mickey Dallas Radio is a guy called John Lund. John just started doing a podcast, and John's a good talk show host, and I subscribe to it, and I'll watch it because I like John. I mean, obviously I know him, but he's got a good show, and he talks a lot of 49ers, which obviously around here I like to keep up with the 49ers because no doubt we'll probably see their asses again. But his setup's not as good as ours. You know, the Horn up in Austin shit-canned all their hosts and went out of business. And so a lot of those got together and started their own little podcast company. And I looked at it the last couple of weeks, and those are good dudes. I have no problem with them. I went and looked at their stuff. I subscribed. It ain't near as good looking as ours. Norm Hitzkus, the legendary radio host in Dallas, Texas, retired this year, but he's doing a little podcast now on part-time basis. He just releases little small snippets all day long, like 5 minutes here, 8 minutes here. And it sounds like he's sitting in his toilet talking, hi, this is Norm Hitzkus. I'm in my bathroom.
To be fair, he probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do that if you're going to do it half-ass? If you're going to do something, do something. Anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there and praise LG. Speaking of which, I can't wait to see your haircut. When we get to the 3,000 subscriber mark, we have agreed that I'm going to get a gullet. I'm going to have my hair cut like Mike Gundy's. It's going to be party all over the place except the sides. I'm going to shave the sides, almost kind of like the Quinn Ewers look he had last season. I'm going to have it all pompadoured on top, but all the way around. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a Davy Crockett coonskin hat, but it's all my hair. I'm going to have that for a full week. And DJ LG is going to get the Marbach Miracle, or whatever he calls it.
Yep.
The Edgar.
The Marbach Mop. Although Marbach Miracle is good, too. I like that.
I like Marbach Miracle, too. What else today? Mike Check A's in here. Eastern Sticks related to Max Johnson. All right, gotta go. We're gonna end with this one here. Animal House Josh, firefighter, trying to become a member. I've tried twice. Not sure if it's my phone or my old man is showing. How do I become a member? He wants to take the next step and forget subscriber. He wants to be a member. LG.
If you have an iPhone, you got to go into the description on the YouTube video and click the link and join through the browser. You can't use the YouTube app.
Got it? Y'all get that? You got to join through the browser. You can't use the YouTube app. Go into your browser. You can't just click on YouTube.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
That's because Apple has a tax for when you go through their payment system, and Google doesn't want to pay that tax.
Blame Tim Cook, son of a bitch. All right, we're done. We have another show to go do. We got that 3 Cents podcast coming up at 1 o'clock today, and DJ LG's got to go make that look pretty. From Chatterbox Studios, in conjunction with DJ LG Productions and Love You Hard Television, we're going to do 3 Cents podcast today at 1 o'clock. Y'all be good. Love you hard. See you tomorrow.
Come back, you puppy!
Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor.
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
This is a Bronx-bound 6 local train. The next stop is Spring Street.
Give me some chon chon.